in the pits. It looks like they're going 4 wide to 5 wide, but they're side by side. Connor is sideways, absolutely sideways in the last few corners. Oh, but he's up in the gravel and he spins. Rob has made a bit of a dive. It actually hits teammate Craig, and so they've all got stuck in the gravel. And Joe gets the switch back. That's fantastic racing. Look at that. Contact, but it's Rubbings Racing. Joe McCall takes his first ever win just ahead of Connor. A fantastic race. He's going to take 6th, or is it? Oh, he just gets him. And is Darren going to take it? No, he doesn't. Mark Nichol takes the race. Josh is the Independence champion for Season 3. Craig Kellett is your Season 3 winner and champion. Here's your grid then for race 2 here in Interlagos. Craig Kellett is on pole position in the Ford Mustang for Elliott Racing after his win in race 1. Next to him is Darren Parker in the team Redeem Motorsports Mazda Atenza. Row 2 is the MCR Storm VW Scirocco's of Gary Black and Mike Comer. Row 3 is the 2 VW Scirocco's of K&N Fox Racing for Mike Kuipers and Mark Nichol. Row 4 is Harry Cook in the Mazda Atenza Team Redeem Motorsports next to the HB Motorsports Hyundai Genesis of Stephen Heath. Row 5 is Tom Foster in the first of the KTTC Random McGanns next to Rob Pellett in the Ford Mustang for Elliott Racing. Row 6 is Joe Burrows in the HB Motorsports Hyundai Genesis next to Alex McCready in the Lexus RCF Team Speedy Motorsports. Another back row to grid, Kieran Thomas in the Random McGann for KTTC Racing next to Joe McCall in the Team Snap-on Nissan GTR. Here we are for race 2 then. Craig is on pole position, Darren is in second, so we have another fight on our hands, no doubt, and away they go. That's a horrendous start from Darren, but don't forget Darren is on the medium tyres for this race, as the rest of the top 6 are on their tyres as well. So there's some contact. There's Darren. So Darren is sideways. I think that looked like Gary who made contact there. So yeah, that'll be interesting to look at. We'll have a look at a replay in a second, but as we continue on, Mike Comer is in third as Heathy makes another fantastic start into second position. So Heathy's in second, Mike Comer's looking to make a move on the inside, and he's looking like he's getting it. As look at that, Heathy's gone really wide. Yeah, so he's got it. Darren's slotting into fifth then. So let's go on board with Gary as he starts the race, and naturally he will bog down getting away off the line. And there's a bit of a tap here from Harry, but then I think it's just Gary on his own. Yeah, he's just overdone it. He's gone straight into Darren. Let's go on board with Heathy then, as he gets a fairly decent start here. Look at this, really good start. Goes past all the Scirocco's almost, as he's almost in line with Harry. And then here's Gary's move on Darren. Sideways.
Looks like that incident there with Darren didn't really cost him that much. He's only in fifth, but he's on the medium tyres, isn't he? So, and it looks like Craig has already activated Kellett time.
Indeed.
And he's just gone away with it.
So
he's already off.
Just about to say Alex McCready looking strong in seventh. That's a really good start for. Oh, that's Harry Cook going wide. So Harry Cook is rally crossing. But yeah, I was about to say that Alex McCready. Oh, contact between the two team redeems. I can't get what I want to say about Alex out, because everything is happening. But Alex McCready was looking strong in seventh, but he's been pushed down, which is a bit of a shame. But maybe he can build up that those positions again. So it's a really kind of. Oh, it is elbows out in this mid-pack here. It is absolute chaos. There's cars everywhere, so people are still jostling for position, trying to find as much track space as they can. On board with Mike Kuipers, as this is behind Joe and Darren. So Darren is fighting. Oh, that was sideways from Mike. I don't know what happened there. So that was really interesting. So as they go down into lap 2, so much happening in this first lap. So there's Tom there behind Mike.
Bit cleaner, I think, this time through turn 1 and turn 2. Tom and I think that's Gary Black going really wide there.
Yeah, so Gary's struggling on his tyres. We can find Gary. So Gary, yeah, look at that. Gary Black, our leader from race 1, is now at the back. So Gary is continuing to lead in the championship, but he's going to have to struggle on those medium tyres. And Gary in Suzuka, he struggled on his medium tyre. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do here. Already struggling as he's behind both Alex and Darren, who's also struggling on his tyres, down to 10th, which is unusual. Yeah, both Rob and Joe McCall fighting at the back there as well, with Kewan at the back looking for some space to make some moves. So Craig is comfortably leading in this one, not having to push anyone out of the way for the lead of the race, as Mike is in second, Heathy is in third. So the top 3 spaced out, and which is completely the opposite of what happened in race 1. So this is settled really early as the mid-pack continues on to rage on. Mark Nicol looking good in 4th, so Mark needs a few good points as he struggled in the Suzuka towards the end. So he's got Harry Cook behind him, so Harry is coming down the start to finish straight line. And as you can see, this Brazilian track is really banked as you go in, and it's a really interesting line and a short stint down to the first corner.
Tell you what, Tom, there's nothing more satisfying than getting that chicane right and the S's in sector 2.
It's a lot tighter and a lot more difficult than you think it looks.
Oh yeah.
It's quite a tight left-hander. You think you'd be able to do it quite quick, and it's not quite the case. So Tom and Joe Burrows having a bit of a fight here. So on board with Joe, and he's got the Valvoline sponsored Renault Megane up in his face in the rear view mirror.
Yeah,
Tom makes a move.
Oh, that's Tom, sorry.
Yeah, Tom's making a move, and I think he gets it done. Well, no, he runs wide, so they switch positions. So Tom has to settle in 8th still, could make another move. But again, things are settled further down the pack. So this 4-way pack here is looking interesting between Heathy and the 2 K&N Fox Racing, Scirocco's and Harry Cook of Team Redeem. And that's Mark Nicol running in slightly wide there, so Harry could take advantage of it, and Mark is still going wide. So Mark is on the grass. Mark is definitely on the grass. Mark is off the track, so it's slow out on the exit, and now he's got Joe Burrows and Tom on the back end of him, so they could catch up.
It looks like this mid-pack battle could double in size potentially over the course of the race. And Heathy has got a lot on his hands if it does, trying to defend. But as I say, that Harry Cook's got up to 3rd, and he's dropped down to 4th. Sorry, with Mike Kuipers looking very racy on the back end of him, with his teammate as well. So a bit of a team play game between was it K&N Fox Racing?
K&N Fox, yeah.
So it looks like Vamp has gone for the move as well, actually. And Mike Comer,
yes,
he's doing all the dirty work of the other lot.
So Craig was looking nice and comfy, but Mike Comer is up there again fighting with the leader of the race with Craig. But as you can see, they are quite far ahead, and they're going to have this fantastic battle between them. But they want to keep it clean and keep it fast, because if they slow each other down, they've got pretty much everyone else. Look at that, the pack in the middle is going to catch up if they're not careful. So let's go on board with Tom.
Look at that. Wow.
Cars everywhere.
Wow. We've got some interesting races on our hand. It's either for the lead or for the mid-backs.
Tom runs wide.
It's for the 3rd position, isn't it? I think it got pushed wide actually there by it was Mark Nicol. Dad Parker giving it large to Tom.
Darren's taking a leaf out of Craig's book and said, right, I'll get my elbows out, and goes for it. But
Mercer is really wide.
Very wide.
Like a nightmare to take.
Alex McCready is taken on to the back of this as well, so he could potentially add to the pack. So the leader of this pack is Harry Cook. Oh, sideways. Wow. That was big sideways from Heathy. The 2 K&N Fox Scirocco's getting together. They've got to try and work together rather than against each other. as they want to keep those points for 5th and 6th. That will be a strong result for them. Yeah, this is not letting off this pack.
Darren's climbing his way through the pack now, I think. Looking for... yeah, he's still in 8th. He's still he's kind of clawing his way past the Genesis of Vamp. Joe, was it?
Joe Burrows.
Joe Burrows, that's it.
So...
horrible names. Horrible names.
So Darren...
he's just kind of hanging on with that slipstream, isn't he? That's kind of what you need to do with moving tyres. If you hang on with the slipstream, you should be alright and do a last minute dive. So what was it Ranksman did, or Gary Black did, to take first. Overtook 3 cars in race 1. Mental scenes.
This is good for Joe McCall, who's as much as he's still in 11th, he's up there having getting involved in it. Yeah.
Maybe slightly a bit more confident than race 1, and might be able to see him push for a bit more in race 3.
And Alex getting involved now. It's a bit of a push on Mark, and Alex looking going into 9th position. So as they break down into the corner, the first left-hand turn right. Oh, that's a massive cut from Alex. So that'll be interesting to be looked at.
Yeah, she was definitely look at that, I think. But yeah, you mean gain a position out of it. Mark Nichols, actually, was he there? I swear he was up near the top.
Mark's dropped down. Yeah, he was with Mike, wasn't he? So he's dropped out. Yeah. I think he went off on the grass at one point, so he's dropped off. Okay. So maybe he dropped off even further. On board with Alexis.
And, Alex might have just given his position back to Mark.
Yeah.
On the chicane there.
Mark running a little bit wide.
Darren's made a move.
So Darren now ahead of Tom. So Tom and Darren fighting for 7th and 8th.
Settle, not really going for anything. But the mid-pack anything can happen here. So you got the 2 of the Team Redeem Masters together. Harry looks like he's dropped off a little bit as well. Heathy's gone back up to 3rd. You've got the other Genesis of Joe Burrows. There's bit of a gap behind him between Mike Kuipers. He's trying to close that gap, catch up to his teammate and get a 3-4 for the HB Motorsport.
So Heathy, yeah, Heathy's looking strong still, and we've had a change of lead. So Mike Comer is leading now. So these two are again properly attached to each other and stuck together like glue as they go around. They're on lap 7, so about halfway through this race. Still plenty to go, and still fighting for the lead. But Craig is no doubt loving being back up at the forefront of this these races. Is this going to really go? I was just thinking of the fact that Craig would probably be on some tyres as well, so this is good for the fact he's on those soft tyres, as Mike Homer isn't on those tyres. So Mike is doing really well to hold off that Mustang so far, and you can see the difference in the size of the vehicles.
One's a long tank, and one's like a little box.
Yeah.
Something you find like a Happy Meal or something, isn't it? But as you're saying, the Craig being on the softs and Mike being on the super softs, there's not really a lot between them. As a quite a soft compounded tyre, so you still do quite well with the soft tyres. Even if it's on some super softs, but obviously the work's cut out for you just to try and suffice for that little bit less grip that you have with the soft tyres. So it'll be good to see if Craig can try and make a move on Mike. Yeah,
so Mike looks like he's just kind of got away at the last half of that lap, so he's just got to. They were a lot closer, so he's just got himself a little bit of breathing space, but Craig is no doubt going to keep putting the pressure on further down then, and a change position for 3rd. Heathy's lost that podium to Mike Kuiper, so Mike really getting himself involved in this one again. So Mike did well in race won, and continues on into another podium position, and he's already gapped the Genesis, but the two Genesis of HB Motorsports, Heathy and Joe, looking strong. Oh, as I say that, they go wide. And Harry,
curse again, so
yes,
curse, I swear.
It will help him in the points though, better than being further down in the pack, but they'll be this will boost their confidence going into the next round. That Hyundai has got some strengths around some of these tracks, and then there's everyone else.
Definitely. I mean, the Genesis have been looking. I think they've looked the strongest they have so far in the 3 rounds of the season so far. So it's good to see them up there. That's for sure.
Rob in 10th. I'm not surprised to say that, behind Darren. Rob is magnetised to the number 10 for some reason. Oh, a bit of a push on Darren. That was unfortunate, and that's Rob who's stopped to let Darren get ahead. So yeah, ruined it for Rob. Rob goes down to 12th now, so now he's under threat from Gary on those medium tyres. So Gary really struggling on the tyres, but could make a position, and any point counts, especially if you're leading this race. So they go down onto lap 9 into the first corner. Can Gary get him on the outside? Rob holding on.
Holds it.
Yeah, does well to defend, gets his elbows out, and that's something that Rob has been saying that he really wants to do. Kieran looks like he's having a nightmare, so Kieran, I think he's away, and I don't know if he'll be finishing the race.
Not a drive, I think.
So continuing to lead this race is Mike Comer, and Craig is pushing him and pushing and pressurising, but for someone who joined in literally at the first round in Suzuka only a couple of weeks ago, Mike has really settled in and is now fighting with two-time champion Craig Kellett, and if he does get this, it'll be his first ever win in literally just in his second event.
I think Mike's come in with Gary to make a massive statement. Obviously Mike is now defending for his life against Craig Kellett, and Craig's actually having his work cut out for him, which is unusual to see. Usually he's kind of just ran away with it and with his feet up near the end of the race. So it's good to see Craig being challenged for the first positions.
But Craig makes a move. He's on the inside and he gets the job done.
Fair enough. What a move from Craig. Can't hate on that. That's a clean move out of Craig. And Mike now is on the hunt for his slipstream, going down into turn 3. He might be able to make a move. Looks like he's got a better exit out of that than Craig did, actually.
So the two HB Motorsports Hyundais have been split by Harry Cook in his Mazda, and he's hot on the tail of Heathy here to try and get into 4th. Harry looking a bit stronger in this race than he did in race 1. And it's all helped Team Redeem in this points, as Darren is having to stay alive further down on those medium tyres. So Harry now trying to get on the inside of Stephen Heath, doesn't quite get it, and he holds back. So Mark Nichol is in 7th with Tom in 8th and Alex in 9th. Again, another positive for Alex and the Lexus into the top 10 as he continues to get used to that tank. The Lexus it's always an interesting one to talk about, the Lexus.
Yeah. I think since Gary's Black debut of the Lexus, I don't think it was that car, was it?
The thing is with the Lexus, people love the sound of the Lexus. It tends to get laughed at because it's always been at the back, really, but somehow it always appears on the grid.
Yeah, one way or another it has to.
It does, yeah. It's good to see it still represented, and he's making a good move on Tom, but he just holds off. A robust move, a bit of a push. Oh, doesn't quite get it, and he holds off, so slows down a little bit. Tom stays in 8th. Further up then we go back up to Heathy and Harry, and They're looking close together here. So Heafy runs wide.
Heafy's loves to go wide in that corner, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's just but it's costing him a little bit, but he's still got the advantage over Harry, I think. It looks like Harry's gone wide. Sorry, not wide. Sorry, on the outside of Heafy. I think he's made the move on him, but Heafy takes it back.
Oh.
I say that.
Oh, I don't know what that was. That was interesting. So I think Heafy just lost it, went really wide and caught the grass, and it's nearly got him sideways. So yeah,
Harry
that was
saved him there.
Really, yeah. He went to the side of Harry, and yeah, lucky not to get taken out big time. So Harry's got ahead of the two Genesis now. So Harry is up to 4th, but Heafy's going to try and get the move back on the inside of him, and doesn't quite get it. Or a little bit of corner cutting there from Heafy as they go up to lap 12. So further up then, Mike Kuipers is on his own, and is at least almost guaranteed a podium position from this. I don't think he's going to catch up for the rest, and unless he makes any big mistakes, he's not going to be caught up. So Mike is almost guaranteed that. So Mike Comer is still in second, and he needs to get past Craig. So Craig has held on to that lead. Could he take 2 out of 2?
He must be gripping his steering wheel. Just in there, just seeing that VW come out of nowhere like that.
Yeah.
He must be gripping his gripping everything just to make sure he takes it, but he goes wide again. So Mike may actually get an actual advantage out of this and overtake him on the S-bends. I thought he was going to look for that gap then. So the VW's like small enough, isn't it, to kind of just go for anything really.
So it's still holding on, just coming down to not very much left in terms of this lap. So we've only got a couple of laps left, and let's go back to Heafy and Harry, and it's actually Harry and HB. I mean, this race is fantastic between these guys here. It's really kind of it's a little bit messy, and there's lots of contact. There's a bit of barge in, push in, and it's getting quite interesting. And there's Joe that goes wide this time, and they're switching places. If they're not careful, they're going to knock each other off, spin each other out, and that's going to hurt them in the points. But 5th and 6th for HB will really boost them up, as I said. So can they hold on to it?
Ideally, I think HB just kind of need to sit behind each other, just sit in each other's slipstream and wait for Harry to make a mistake in the last lap, maybe. I think that's probably the more sensible thing to do. But you know, these are all fighters, aren't they? They want to get the best result possible. But I think for the team's sake, just sit there and wait for Harry to make a mistake or take the slipstream and both get past him.
So Joe McCall is up into the top 10 now. He's ahead of Darren, so Darren's out of the top 10. So this isn't going to be too good for the points. So Darren is just holding on as much as he can on those medium tyres, but Joe will be wanting to make that Nissan incredibly wide to try and take a top 10 result for the Nissan. It's the sole Nissan again, unfortunately, and but he's, as I say, not giving up just yet. So Kieran, as I say, still cracking on, but the lead of this race is now into the hands of Mike Comer, so he's got the lead. And we keep missing the lead change, but Craig is now behind Mike Comer, and so Mike could be on the way to his first victory, but he's going to have to hold on for one more lap.
Should be up for the challenge, I think. Hoping he is anyway.
So as we come down the start finish straight line into turn 1, Mike Comer is leading, and he just needs to hold on for one more lap. Craig is taking the outside line, doesn't get it done. Yeah, so Mike holds on for the first corner. God, look how close they are now.
Just turn 2 out the way, now turn 3. Only got a few more to go now. So it's just kind of defending that line, isn't he? So Craig goes on the outside and kind of just forced him wide, really. Yeah, that's brilliant from Mike.
So they're still attached to each other as they go into the next right-hand corner. And He's holding on. So as actually Mike has got a bit of space, there's a little bit of breathing space. Mike Kuipers is still in third. Heathy and Harry, sorry, it's actually Joe and Harry fighting. Joe goes on the outside and Harry gets the overtake and gets it done. So Harry's up to fourth, to 2HB still in fifth and sixth. They're still fighting for those last positions.
It's great racing. Great racing.
So Mike comes round for the last bend and he's holding on board with Craig, and can he get the toe to get past Mike, or is Mike going to take his first win? Is it going to be a repeat of race 1? I don't think he's got it. Mike Comer takes his first ever win for MCR Storm in race 2. Craig gets second, so well done to Mike for his first win. Mike Kuipers gets third. And we continue back on with Heathy, Harry and Joe Burrows, but Joe gets a fantastic fourth, just ahead of Harry, who's just ahead of Heathy. Tom gets 7th, 8th is Mark as Alex McCready spins around over the line. Darren gets 10th, 11th for Joe McCall, unfortunately, so doesn't finish in the top 10. Rob Pellet gets 12th with Gary Black in 13th, so that'll be interesting to see how the points will look after the race for those tyres. And then Kieran here has obviously pretty much retired from the race, so he finishes at the back in 14th. Mike Comer gets his first ever win in the VW Scirocco for MCR Storm, then just in front of Craig Keller in the Ford Mustang. Mike Kuipers is in third, Joe Burrows is fourth, Harry Cook was fifth with Stephen Heath in sixth, Tom in seventh, Mark in eighth, Alex McCready a good ninth with Darren in 10th, Joe McCall in 11th with Rob was 12th as Gary Black finishes in 13th and Kieran finishes at the back. Of course, Daniel Stewart never starts the race. In the standings then, Darren Parker gets just about enough points to take the lead of the championship, 1 point ahead of Gary Black after both struggle on their tyres. Craig continues in third with Tom also in fourth, but Mark Nichol and Mike Comer jump up to 5th and 6th as Kieran drops down to 7th after struggling in the race too. Harry continues in 8th with Stephen in 9th, Mike in 10th, and the rest follow on from there. In the team standings then, Team Redeem continue to lead the championship, but MCR Storm are joining them with 187 points, so both the teams are joint in the lead. K-Tech is still in third, 164, but K&N Fox Racing are continuing to catch them, 140 points. 3 points behind them is Elliott Racing, so they get a good result there. HB Motorsports 114 with Team Snap-on in 7th and Team Speedy at the back. Gary Black continues to lead the Rookie Cup then with 141 points, Harry Cook on 122. Alex McCready is only 1 point ahead of Rob Pellet now with 99 to 98. Mike Comer is in 5th but is climbing very quickly after his win on 91 points now, so he's only 7 points behind Rob Pellet. And of course Luke and Daniel don't score at the back there.